All right, we are back for another Friday financial wrap up with Mr. Michael Zuber. How are you, Michael?
Oh man, I'm doing so well. Thank you for the opportunity to do this each week. I truly look forward to it as kind of the capstone of my week. So thank you for being a part of it.
I love it. I love it. And it's amazing. We get to really look back over the week and even revisit what's happened the last month, the last so far year to date. So let's get right into it. This is for September 1st, 2023. The month of August flew by. We're in a whole nother territory. Let's talk about the Fed. What did you see with the Fed? What are your thoughts about where the Fed's at now in September?
I have now come to believe with a phrase that I put out there called the Fed is winning. Right. We talked about the Jackson Hole meeting. We've done a lot of talk about the Fed. I have said before, and I'll probably say again, the Fed's done raising rates. The Fed is starting to see data come through. They understand that the banking crisis is potentially going to get worse. They're seeing the economy slow down. And I think they're done. And I think they're smiling. We'll talk about some metrics in the next couple of points, but all of them seem to be going the direction they want. And shelter inflation is just about to get better, which I've been talking about for 6 months.
Yep.
And they know the lag effect is coming. So I think the Fed's winning. I think there's a chance that they thread the needle and they get this one right. So we'll see.
I love it. So the Fed is winning. Let's talk about have we hit the terminal rate then? If the Fed is winning, do we see this pause continue for the rest of the year, Michael Zuber?
Not only the rest of the year, but all of next year. 18 months.
18 months. There you go, folks. I love your track record and I love the direction of what we're talking about because you've been talking about this for months and months. Let's continue. I like also too, the Fed is winning. I think that's a hashtag.
There you go. I like it. Yeah.
I think it's a hashtag. I think that hashtag needs to get out there. Let's see what happens here. Let's continue. The JOLTS report. What is it and what happened this week?
So one of the things that's very important is obviously the job market's been remarkably strong, 3.5% inflation. We're worried about wage spiral, all of these things. There was a time where we had 10 point something million job openings, and we actually almost had a 2-to-1 ratio. What does that mean? We had 2 job openings for every employee. Well, what happened this last report is not only are we below 10 million, but now we're below 9 million. We're like at 8.9. And the ratio has gone from 2-to-1 to 1.5 to 1. So again, we're heading the right direction. Also, we're seeing wage pressure change. We're seeing quits change. We're seeing all these numbers go back to pre-pandemic levels. And again, another sign that the Fed is winning.
I love it. The Fed's winning. JOLTS report. Let's talk about, even with the JOLTS report, something you look at every week, the ADP payroll report. Explain the significance, what it is, what it means, and what happened this week.
Yeah, so there's a couple of numbers. We do get an unemployment report every week, which we'll talk about in a minute. ADP report is a monthly number. ADP report is the first number that usually comes out 2 days before the Economic Bureau of Labor comes out. And it gives a view of private payrolls. It's not the same, but it's private payrolls. Over the last couple of months, they have reported blowout numbers. We're talking, I think 2 months ago, expectations were 200 and they came in at like 600 or something crazy, 580. Last month, they were expected 200. They came in at like 350. This month, they missed to the downside. Expectations were 200,000. They came in at 170. So again, this week, you and I happen to be recording this Thursday afternoon. There's a very important number that comes out Friday morning, which unfortunately we won't see, called the Friday jobs report. The expectation is 170. I'm actually expecting sub 100. So we'll put that on record.
Okay.
But again, the real important number is, hey, if we're like 170 or below tomorrow or when this comes out, you're going to see the Fed is winning again. Now, let's just play this out. Let's say it comes in, it's a blowout number, 340. That would be a problem. The Fed would not be winning at a 340. So we're going to see. But again, as of this recording, the ADP report was below. The JOLTS report was below. The job market, one of the last anchors of probably frustration for the Fed, is starting to loosen up. And again, they don't want to crash. They don't want 7% unemployment. They just don't want two job openings for every unemployed person. That's not healthy.
Interesting. Very interesting. And I would say for folks also, you're watching this, and if you're a hardcore viewer, a member of the community, I would say also watch the daily financial news for Friday as well. Obviously, you'll be commenting, talking about that in the morning show, correct?
Yep.
I love it. I love it. So let's continue then. The Fed is winning. That's obvious. I love the theme of this. Let's talk about what does that really mean for consumer confidence? What did you see this week, reports wise? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah. So the consumer confidence numbers they mean nothing to you, but what you should be watching is the trend and more importantly, the delta from expectations. So this is from memory. Last month we were at 116, or no, expectations were 116. Last month was 114. They came in at 106. Again, the numbers mean nothing. But what really is important is the consumer is less 106 is less than 114. So they're more nervous. They're pulling back. They're doing these things. That's what the number means. And it's a big gap down. So again, consumers are pulling back, right? The high end is pulling back. Everybody's getting a little bit more conservative. They're running out of savings. They're running out of this. They're running out of that. So yeah, the consumer's starting to pull back. And again, the Fed is winning.
That is winning. So consumer confidence, obviously things have shifted. We're starting to see that play out. PCE, what is it and what happened this week?
PCE, personal consumption expenditures, PCE core, favorite inflation gauge of the Fed. They've stated that on record. PCE core, I don't have my notes. Let me see if I get it. Oh, I don't have it in front of me. I think it came in at 3.3. Last month was 3.0, so up, but as expected. Year on year up at 3.3. But what is most important is month on month. It was up 0.22. So if you annualize the last 3 months, right? You add up the last 3 months times 4, you actually get a PCE core of 2.9.
Okay.
If you add up the last 6 months and times 2, you get like 3.4. So what we're seeing is, again, the Fed is winning. This is coming in. And oh, by the way, 43% of inflation is calculated in the CPI as shelter. I've been telling you for 5 months that the numbers get better in September, and we are almost there.
Interesting.
So again, it will start to be interesting to see what's going on. This is all in the flight with gas prices. Gas prices are at I think a 52-week high. But again, shelter is 43% of inflation. Oil and gas is like 11. So it's not even close to the swing. So we're going to see what happens with CPI. I think it's on the 12th, so 2 weeks from now, but going to be interesting.
So sidebar, as a one rental at a time community member, as a landlord, even if let's just say they've got their first rental or, a small handful of properties or even a, significant portfolio, should people be worried about drops in rent? And I know this was a sidebar, but should people be concerned as this, we say housing starting to soften or it's going to trend the other way? What are your thoughts there in terms of rents for the one rental at a time landlord?
I personally think rents are going to get soft in Class A, big cities. There's a lot of inventory coming to some markets, new inventory that often fill up at the expense of others. I think bigger apartments could see some rent softness or flat, but single family homes, no. Affordability to buy is low. People want a backyard. People want space. Could it be flat? Sure. We've seen crazy rent growth the last couple of years.
Yep.
But I am certainly happy that I own all the single families that I own today. So yeah, that's what I think.
And I would second that. That was what my hunch was, and I was hoping you would confirm that. We didn't talk about this pre-roll, but I really do believe like single families, typically, if anything, they go flat. But also too, like the large apartment, homogeneous 150 unit apartment buildings, I've seen those go soft. Or even luxury. I've even leased a place because luxury was soft, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool to live. I've always wanted to live, downtown.
Yeah.
So I could see that softening only because there's much the numbers, if you will, at scale. That makes a lot of sense. So let's continue. This is an interesting topic. I made an Instagram video this week, and I talked about opportunity and that the housing market was broken and probably would be for the next year not just 2023, but probably maybe for the next year. What are your thoughts on that? And what do you see, Michael, or what did you
Uh,
discover?
well, first and foremost, I saw that. I thought you did a wonderful job on that. You're getting really good at your Instagram reels, so kudos to
Thank you.
you. Goldman Sachs, kind of in your ilk, thinks it'll be 2027. I think it's going to be a decade. So
Wow.
let me define that. So to be clear, Goldman Sachs is saying we are not going to get back to the transaction levels of 2019 until 2027. I am saying we are not going to get back to the peak of 2022 or 2021. I forget which year was the peak for a decade. This is all transactions. I think prices are basically flat. But yeah, if you're in the business of transactions, you need to remember that this year is going to be considered a normal year. So if you're running a successful business at today's volumes, good, you're ready to rock and roll. If you are bleeding money and hoping that magically it's going to get better in 2024, I don't have any good news for you. I have no good news for you. Buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to get rough.
Interesting. And so let me elaborate on that. So if we look at like 21, 22 numbers, those were like national number,
Yeah.
6 million plus transactions. What was
Yeah,
the
I
kind of
think it was
ballpark on that?
6.6, I think, total.
6.6.
I think
Okay.
so.
All right.
New and existing together.
So if we look at 2019, Goldman Sachs says 2019 was the kind of quote unquote normal pre-pandemic.
Probably 5.5. I mean, I have the numbers. I don't know what will happen if I change my screen, but I'm changing my screen.
Yeah, take your time.
Because I had this up. So 2019.
Sorry, go ahead.
So 2019, we did 6 million total transactions, 5.3 existing. In 2021, we did 6.9 million transactions, 6.1 existing. So quite a big difference.
Interesting. And so you also mentioned something last week, and I'm going to go back and we're going to finish on opportunity, folks. So hang in here. I think this is important for people to set the expectations and really realize what season we're in. If you're a realtor, fix and flipper, a one rental at a time investor, understanding the season is really critical. So if we look at annualized transactions for 2023, you think we're at about 4 million, short of 4 million, just above 4 million nationwide?
So for 2023, we'll probably come in around 4.2.
Okay. All right. And so this should be expected as the new normal. We're not going to get to 6 million transactions for a long time. 2 to 3 years at best, and maybe even
5 years at best.
5 years at best. Okay. So what that probably means is that for realtors, we had 1.6 million realtors. At one point, we didn't have 1.6 million listings nationwide. I know that was a stat.
We still don't.
We still don't, right? So that was a stat early in the summer and probably consistent with low inventory. Two things. One is realtors probably need to retool and add in different strategies, new tactics, new tools and abilities, number one. But I want to come to you, Michael, on this. I think that if you look at where we're at in the market cycle, do you believe that this, again, going back to your 50-year chart, is this kind of a 1970s, 1980s? Are we going to probably see stability below the median in most markets? Are we going to maybe see appreciation? Home builders continue to crush it. Just your thoughts and opportunity for the one real at a time community. Finish on that thought strong, Michael.
Yeah. So again, there's a billionaire on CNBC, Jeff Green, I think that put it really, really well the other day. He is talking about amazing opportunities coming. There was a lot of folks who did some financial engineering the last couple of years. And unfortunately, when the music stopped, they got caught. And again, Jeff Green's a billionaire. He's talking big, big, big things. But I want you to understand the opportunity is out there for us as well. It could be in the 5 unit, the 10 unit, the 20 unit building. There's going to be some tremendous opportunities, both on price and on terms. Skill up on subject to, novation, all the things that I know nothing about, which you are the man on. You make your money when there's motivated sellers. And certainly over the next 2 or 3 years, motivated sellers are going to be easier to find. And if I was a real estate agent just paid on commission, I would try to become a hybrid agent, which is something you teach, talk about, and mentor, because you're going to see opportunities long before anybody else. And if you could figure out how to structure, partner, JV, whatever it is to get these things done, you could fundamentally change. You could be Ty in a decade, right? With his experience, his skill set, and portfolio. So yes, the headlines are scary. Yes, transactions going below 4 million are scary, but it is also a tremendous opportunity if you're ready.
I love it. Speaking of opportunity, where are you at on the boot camp? I know the 10-week boot camp.
Yeah, it's got 5 or 6 more spots. If you want to be a part of it, you can buy it. It's $1,000. If you're going to put it on a credit card and pay interest, don't bother. Watch my free stuff. I don't want anybody paying interest on this. But if you're stuck, you know what's going on? You want 11 weeks. I'm actually giving you a bonus week to ask me questions. Let's do it. I'm going to bring a topic to bear every show or every time. Then we're going to talk for 60 minutes on Q&A. I give you all my courses, which is $700-800. It's a stupid value at $1,000. If you're one of my students and you buy the course, I'll actually refund you $497 because if you had enough faith in me to buy my original course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time, I want to give you a bonus. So you're gonna save $100. So yeah, for you it's only 500. We'll work out a way to get you the delta back. So let's go.
I love it. If you have any interest, folks, if you've been on the fence, even if you own the course now existing, this is a awesome opportunity for you to not only you're going to buy the original course, all the mini courses, all the bonus content, lots and lots of amazing content, the live event that was recorded in Fresno.
Yeah.
A bunch of small, like 2-hour, 3-hour mini events that Michael did with a bunch of his experts, his millionaire panel, and basically all of the people that contribute on this channel. But also, this is the biggest thing. For $1,000, you're going to get to be with Michael for not just 10 weeks, 11 weeks, where you're going to be live on a Zoom, be able to ask questions, interact, and not only that, the personal coaching that you're going to need in a group format, as well as membership in the Facebook group. Folks, go to onerentalatatime.com. Where can they find the link? Is it at the left, bottom?
Yeah, just go to onerentalatatime.com courses. It'll be right there. It'll be in the show notes if you want to look there, usually that way. Down.
I love it. Michael, have a great weekend. Thank you for all that you give and all that you do. Thank you so much.
You got it, bud. Take care.